Welcome back to the channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you quickly how to create a Django project, and I'm also going to teach you how to do it the best way, and I'll tell you why you need to do it that way. And also, in this tutorial, I'm going to talk a little bit about the problems beginners face and also how we can deal with those beginners when creating a Django project. There are some problems that you can face and you don't even know how to ask or how to deal with it. So we'll be doing that in this tutorial. So first, I'm going to create a folder in which you're going to be working in. So I'll create a folder and call it my project. We have our project down here, and now we need to navigate to our project. So I'm going to head over to my CMD, that is command prompt. You can use PowerShell or Git Bash if you want, but for me, I'll be using command prompt. So the first thing we need to do is to navigate to a folder. So we can see right now we are in our tutorials account. We want to head over to desktop, and we will do that by saying cd desktop. CD stands for change directory. So right now you can see we are inside the desktop directory. Now we are going to navigate inside our folder. So I'll say cd my project. After doing that, we need to create a virtual environment. I'm creating a virtual environment so that I can do all my installations in that virtual environment, so that I don't have conflict issues with some previous versions of Django, or maybe you install Python. So the best way to do it is just to create a virtual environment and use the version you want inside that specific virtual environment. So I'm going to say Python -m and then venv. Now, we are done installing our virtual environment. The next thing we can do is just to activate it. So if you are in Mac or Linux, you are going to do something like this to activate it. So you're going to say source, and then you're going to say venv, and then /, and then bin, and then / again, and then activate. Then you're going to press enter. But for me, I'm on Windows, so I'm just going to say venv, and then /, and I'm going to say scripts for /, and then I'm going to say activate. So to know your virtual environment has been activated, you're going to see the name of your virtual environment inside parentheses. So you see, the previous statement we had did not have the virtual environment activated, but the next statement we have, we see it starts with venv inside parentheses. Now you know everything you're going to do will be inside this virtual environment. So what we can do right now is we can upgrade pip. The reason we're going to update pip is so that if we have a new version of Django, we are going to install that, and like just installing the previous version that existed. We want new versions because they are good, because they are updated, and also they've been dealt with if the previous ones had some bugs. So I'm going to upgrade pip. So I'm going to say Python -m, and then I'm going to say pip install --upgrade. Oh, I should have said upgrade pip. So I'm just going to say pip. Great. And now you see we have successfully upgraded our pip. So the next step is to install Django. So I'm going to say pip install Django. Great. Now we see we have installed Django. We can even check the version of the Django that we have installed by saying Python -m, and then you can say Django --version. Press enter, and you see we have Django 5.2.8. And that's good. The next thing we need to do is to create a Django project. But before I do that, I'm going to open this folder with the virtual environment activated in Visual Studio Code. So to do that, I'm going to say code, then dot, or period if you prefer that. If you're using Visual Studio, if you press enter, you're going to open this folder with the virtual environment activated. So the reason I'm opening this folder with the virtual environment created is so that we can see whatever happens. So if we create our our project, we're going to see it reflect up here. So just a minute, I'm going to clear my terminal. So I'll say CLS, then cleared. Great. So we need to create a project. The project is going to be called my project also. I just chose to call it my project because it's not a real project. I'm just showing you how to start a project in Django. But if it were a real project, you should call it the name of that project. For example, if it was store, you can just say my store or the name of the store itself. If it's a notebook app, you can just say my note app or something like that. So what we can do right now is you can say Django dash admin start project, and then we can say my project. Simple as that. Then you can press enter. Now you see we have our project folder right here, and inside the folder we have another folder, and inside the folder we have some Python files. So let's try to run our program and see what will happen. I'm going to try and run my server. So I'm going to say Python manage.py run server, and we get an error. Python can't open file, blah blah blah, and then we see no such file or directory. That's because we need to navigate inside this folder so that we can get this command Python manage.py. So what we can do, this is actually a problem beginners face most of the time. They create the project, they don't know they need to navigate inside this project. So what we can do, we can say cd my project. So we are navigating inside the my project folder again. So right now if we run Python manage.py run server, it should work. And you see our project is running. So if we hold down Control and then left click on that link, you see our site is up and running. So let me show you something that I always find useful. So instead of creating this folder and also having another folder inside it, we don't need that. Sometimes, as I've said, beginners forget. So we can just delete the folder. We can delete the folder and do it in a different way. So delete the folder, delete permanently, and it can't actually delete because we have the folder. We are inside that directory. So what you can do, we can say cd dot dot. So the two period just tell our machine that, hey, go back to the previous directory. So right now, if we try and delete it again, it should disappear. So what I always do is I say Django dash admin start project and then my project, and then we add a period at the end. So if we press enter, we're going to see we have this folder my project again, but right now we don't have that unnecessary folder inside it. So right now you don't have the problem of trying to run the code. Let's see Python manage.py run server. So you see right now you can just run your code without any problems. Nothing is bothering you. You see, we have our project up and running. So the period at the end just says, hey, don't create that unnecessary folder, just create the project in this directory. And that's what has happened. So remember to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorial like this. And also leave a comment so that I can know what you want to see next. Bye.